Welcome to today's Teach Me episode. I decided to go with Marduk today. There is a lot of notable Marduk players. We have OFDP, we have The John, we have John Hammer. But today I decided to go with Joey Fury, and I want him to show me all the new stuff in Season 4 with Marduk. I hope you like this episode. Remember to subscribe, make sure you smash the like button, and also remember to leave a comment as well. Let's get into it.
Craig Marduk.
Alright, so what's going on, everyone? We got Joey Fury here that's going to teach me to do Season 4 stuff on Tekken 7 with Marduk. Take it away, Joey Fury.
What's up, Jay? Thanks for having me back. So we're going to go top to bottom. First move is clearly a buff, and that is to this string right here, 1, 2, 3, 1 plus 2. So the main way that this is used, you've got 1, 2 forward 1, which is like the main counter hit threat off of the jab string. So like Marduk can get pressure started doing like 1, 2 VTS or just 1, 2 by itself. And then he can kill you if you swing with this high right here, which of course is launch punishable. So they buffed this mid check option, which kills people for trying to duck the 1, 2 forward 1. So when this hits, they made it so that it's +8 now instead of +4.
So I can't block the last hit then no more.
Well, you can still duck this last hit. It was always natural combo if the third one hits you.
Okay.
But the thing is, it was only +4 before, and now it's +8. So this is actually really significant, like in terms of the reward when you finish the string. Because I mean, the damage hurts, right? Like when that gets you, it does 40. But with +8, if I do down 3 like immediately, they can't hop kick. This will beat generic hop kicks. The generic hop kick will crush on frame 9, and so because you have +8 into a 16 frame low, you'll beat it by 1 frame. So they can't hop kick out of this situation. So then you can like easily mix between down 3 and down 4, and then it also makes down back 2 a frame trap. So he gets like really nasty mix up after it hits now. But then it gets even better because they give him the ability to go into VTS after it hits. So then there's even more stuff you can do. You could like go into the VTS throw mix up right away. Oh, whoops. And they can't hop kick out of that either.
Crazy.
He could go right into the VTS low. If I can actually execute.
Oh, sorry. Do it again.
Right into this. He could go right into tackle. He can go right into this string, for instance, which we'll talk about in a second. So many options. Even just like whether you go into VTS or not, there's like this great advantage right there. Obviously, this string is pretty risky, but it just gives you more reward for people who are trying to duck this string right here, which is a really good string in itself. So that buff is pretty nice. You don't want to overuse it. I think the first like week the game came out, I was really overusing it because I just wanted to do it so much. It is launch punishable, but when you pull it off, it's just so nasty, so much damage and so much reward.
Nice. All right, those are the stuff that I didn't really know the move was actually used for, but you actually taught me something, man, because I thought that move was good, but now the way how you explained it, yeah, I could see how it could be a major threat.
Yeah, Marduk's 1-2 is just such a great offensive starter because like, if you just do it by itself, -1, and then you have like a million options. You know, you can do like 1-2 down 4, or 1-2 into VTS, 1-2 in and out of VTS, 1-2 frame trap. You know, and now you got super rewarding offense on this. So that's really central. It's an interesting buff. I wasn't expecting it at all.
And then we got the other one, which is for me, is it from ready stance? It says ready position. So during ready position, forward 1, 4. So that's the move that you showed me. This one here. Now,
yeah. So
Gigas can't do 1-2 no more.
No, they made this safe. So before it was unsafe in two ways. You could duck the second hit, and then even if you failed to duck it, you could just jab punish -10. But now it's only unsafe in one way. You have to duck it. If they don't duck it, he's fine. And of course, he still has a mid option to hit them if they do try to duck it. So that's just a buff to his VTS mix-up game because it's just a little bit safer. When Marduk's like at a life deficit, you know, you see like lots of just like come in, start doing this. And now he's got a slightly safer option to kill them if they're trying to duck that. Still launch punishable, but he won't get punished if they fail to duck it, and then you can back up the forward 1-4 with the forward 1-2. So again, that's a pretty nice buff.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So we also have during ready position down 1+2, increase the move's reach like you showed before. So I don't think we have to go too much over that. It's kind of self-explanatory, right?
Yeah, this is the Python explosion, and so before there was like occasional instances where it would hit like super max range, and when it hit really max range, the second hit would actually whiff. And now it seems like it's pretty much impossible for that to happen. Like if you get that first hit, then the second one's gonna reach. Like right there, the second hit probably would have whiffed before, and now it's just totally reliable.
Okay, cool. And then the next change is 1-2 forward 1. They decrease the distance between character and opponent when the move lands as a counter hit.
Okay, so the reasoning behind this one is against big characters like Marduk, Fakumram, the bear. When you counter hit the third hit, 1-2 forward 1, what would happen? Actually, do that key charge again. See, like that, when it hits like super max range, it knocks them pretty far away. That would happen like even when you hit it up close against the big characters. You would have to do dash down back 3-1-1. Excuse me. But now there's less pushback when that counter hits. So like when you hit it up close, you don't have to dash anymore to convert.
Ah, okay. So like, just try it now. So I'm gonna press 1 after the.
Yeah, just swing into it. Yeah, before that would just drop. Like you'd have to dash first, but now it's just like quality of life. It's easier. You don't even have to do the dash.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So then his next one is down forward 3. They increase the range of the attack. So I'm assuming it's this.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed like the range being more. I think it's like a subtle range buff. The funny thing is they buffed the range on that move once before in season 3.
Okay.
So they just gave him a little bit more. It doesn't feel too significant, but I guess it's there.
Yeah. And then moving on from that, the same thing, down forward 3, 1-2 3 1+2. Change the frame advantage when blocked from 0 to +4. Change the frame advantage upon hit from +4 to +8, and can now shift into ready position. So it's basically the same thing as what it is before, but you could do it down forward 3, right?
Yeah, so identical changes to the first one, 1, 2, 3. It's really just an across-the-board change to this headbutt thing. Like any string that ends in this headbutt, they change the frames. So more advantage on block, more advantage on hit, and he can go into VTS like this. So it applies to this string and this string.
Yep. So that's that. We skip past the next one, and then the next change is down forward 4-2. Change the frame advantage when blocked to -9 to -4, and second hit increase the low range of the attack.
So this move has been getting buffed consistently each season as well. They gave this first hit a much bigger hitbox in season 3, so he could do all sorts of higher damage conversions. Off of this, anytime he uses this in a combo, he can do this now. That was a season 3 thing. So now what they've done, this first hit was always like super negative on block, but now it says in the patch notes -4, but you know, you can get that long range hit that's -3 because it has 2 active frames. So it actually gives him like a legitimate mid check in a lot of like these up close situations. Because before, if you wanted to do like a mid check, you'd be doing like back 4. But now he's got this option here that's not that negative, and they have to respect the second hit. Because if they get counter hit by the second, it's a counter hit launch. And obviously they want to duck it because it's launch punishable. So you can kind of like run around and do down forward 4 every now and then without totally giving up your turn. I haven't actually been doing it that much, but I think it might actually be decent. I'm just not used to doing it yet.
Yeah.
You can just like check certain situations with a quick mid now.
Okay, cool. So that leads me on to his next move, which is down 1, increase the range of the attack.
I think this is another like subtle range increase, but it's a pretty good move. Nothing else has changed about it, you know, it's just straight up. It says the range is increased. I think it's pretty subtle. It's got a counter hit property. You get a guaranteed down 3 afterward. That's always been the case. And 0 on block. So this is like a unique mid for Marduk because it's still got some speed to it. But unlike his other speedy mids, he doesn't have to completely give up his turn after it's blocked. So, you know, like if they block this, -8. They block this, -9. You know, this counter hit check, -9. But this one, you know, like he gets to keep going. He can just like sidewalk. He can check with a crouch jab. If you know they're not going to swing, he can apply his lows. Like, it just sort of keeps the party going. So there's a little bit more reason to use it, I guess, if it does have more range. But again, I think it's just like slightly more. Doesn't seem that noticeable.
Yeah, now that makes sense. And then back to, they changed the frame advantage upon hit from +1 to +4. And I see you smiling there, so.
It's just, this move was already so good. You know, like, if this counter hits, it's like pretty much the round a lot of the time. It's a really long range homing. It's got some evasion, like it'll go under jabs sometimes. It'll go under other highs. You know, just a normal combo off of this. That's like an easy mode combo, does 81.
Crazy.
So now, like, even when it hits, they have to like respect some frames. Down 4 will be like a semi frame trap. Back 4, semi frame trap. Of course, you can jab them. Before, like they could mash, you know, because +1's not that much, but +4 is like real plus frames now. So this is just, you know, just more buffs, more like little things, just bringing him up. And we haven't even gotten to the biggest buff yet. So here it is. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. So Marduk, in terms of his block punishment, he's always been great at -10 and -11 because he's got this +7 jab punisher. So like into more pokes. At 13, he's been one of the absolute best, 38 damage into +12 and a wall splat. But 12 was always like this gap, you know, he's just, when he blocks something -12, he's just doing 2-1 usually. But now, we've got this thing right here, up forward 1-2. And there's
frames.
so many reasons why it is just amazing. So, first of all, it's got great range. For instance, like do down 1+2 with Marduk. Like that reaches easily. Do like a long range down forward 1. Oops. Reaches super easily. And now, so you can just see the damage, 34 damage. It's +6 on hit. And it forces crouch. So it's kind of like, in terms of a block punisher, it's like on par with Paul back 1-2. Maybe because it forces crouch even a little bit better. And then because of its input, the fact that the input is up forward 1-2, this allows you to do it from crouch and punish -12 lows. -12, -13, whatever. And in that sense, it's probably even better than Paul's back 1-2 as a punisher, because you can punish lows with it. So do Marduk down 3. do Marduk QCF2.
Right. Hold on.
So like even just in this one matchup right here, those two lows, which were amazingly safe, they're now eating 34 damage into +6, and they're in crouch. And so like you can just instantly start thinking of like all of the matchups that this totally changes. So he can punish Brian low soccer kick. He can punish Asuka down back 3. He can punish Law down back 3. Bob down back 3. With like a chunk of damage into plus frames. Julia, historically one of his hardest matchups, he can now consistently punish her magic 4 with up forward 1-2. So if they're trying to like lock you down with elbow and just random magic 4, you know, you just block and punish, boom boom. It's like such a game changer. Like it's crazy to think of how many moves this makes a difference for. Just his ability to punish, and it's just really devastating. So I can't like understate how big a deal this move is. I think this move right here makes him like without a doubt a top 10 character in my mind.
Yeah, I've been thinking that he's top 10, but we're going to get into that conversation a bit later on. So we're going to move on to the next one. So back forward 1+2 2, they changed the command from back forward 1+2 2 to a quarter circle forward 1+2 2. Now explain, do you think that's a good change?
So Marduk players will, when they want to do like the max damage wall combo, they'll just have to like adjust a little bit, remember like, okay, the input's changed. It hasn't been a big deal for me. I've been remembering to do this input pretty easily. The reason they did this, and it is a good change, is because you'd be like running around the screen and like your opponent's coming at you and you're like, okay, I know they're coming in, I want a power crush. And sometimes you would backdash and then you'd hit power crush and then you'd get this because you hit back and then you tried to power crush, and the original input was back forward 1+2. So now you can run around the screen however you want and just bust out the power crush anytime. Just boom. And the interesting thing is they did something very similar for Ganryu, because he had salt upper back forward 2, and they changed the input to back forward 2+3, so now he can run around and do forward 2 whenever he wants, which is a great move. So Marduk's not the only character that they did this input change for, to ensure that you can use their keep out moves more comfortably. Unfortunately, Leo did not get the same treatment with her back forward 1+2, so you can't backdash and whiff punish with forward 1+2. Sorry, Leo, but Marduk and Ganryu are in there, and I think this is a pretty solid change.
Nice. Okay, so that leads me on to the next one. While crouching 1+2, change the frame advantage when blocked from -4 to -7, increase the low range of the attack. So that's this one.
This is actually a huge buff. This is really significant. So the frame advantage, it doesn't really matter that much, you know, because this move's got like good pushback anyway. Yeah. The buff is in that second line, increase the lower range. So Marduk has been known to have a lot of trouble punishing sliding attacks. Law slide, Shaheen, Lee, even just Eddie slide, running 3. But now his full crouch 1+2 really consistently picks up all of those moves when he blocks them. So we can't demonstrate it in this matchup. Or actually, we probably could if you just do a running slide at me. Boom. So consistent now. So consistent. And that was always really difficult. Like, some of his harder matchups, like I think Law is one of the harder ones, Julia, these changes just right here, like the up forward 1-2 and the bigger hitbox on full crouch 1+2, they're solving some of his matchup problems in a really, really big way. So Marduk players have got to be really happy about that one.
Nice. So we have a few more, which are throw buffs, I think. They approach enemy forward, half circle forward 1, increase their moves tracking. So this is probably for like people that are trying to sidestep.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed like tracking increase. You know, you see changes just like this in King and Armor King's move list, like on all of their major command grabs. So again, it seems like there's a subtle tracking buff. I don't know if it's in like one direction specifically. It doesn't specify. When I tested, it seemed like sidestep right was still really good against all those throw options. But it says the tracking's a little better, so I don't know. This isn't like a very important change in the list, in my opinion.
Okay, cool. And then while enemies down by the feet, down back 2+4. So I think that's the one where he slams you to the ground. So
yes. So yeah, you can just knock me down. So you can see that does 35. That's the one that comes out when you do the wall 50-50. Like when you do a wall combo. Yeah. So that damage went down by 5. This is probably the only nerf that you'll find in the whole list. True. For Marduk, man. For Marduk, only one nerf the whole list. Pretty amazing. So that's okay, you know. He still can do the one break throw at the wall into the perfectly timed up back 1+2 into full crouch down forward 4, and that still does a grip of damage. So his mix up with the ground throws at the wall is still like outrageously powerful, and the fact that everyone else's wall damage came down because of the system change, right?
Yeah,
I think he comes out really well from that change, because now relative to everyone else, like if you're doing the ground throw mix up as your wall combo, like his damage output is way higher than everyone else because their wall combos all came down.
That's true.
So it's not even really that big a deal if they nerf the damage on this. I guess in open ground Oki, it's kind of noticeable. It's not doing that like huge chunk of 40, but 35 still hurts a lot. So there's still like a silver lining to this nerf, even though it's obviously a nerf. 5 damage.
Nah, that definitely makes sense. So then we have the last one, which is his reversal. So time with enemy attack, back 1+3 or back 2+4. Fix an issue which the damage dealt with the opponent in specific situations was not correct. I don't really understand that one.
I don't know what specifically they're talking about. These are like really detailed ones, like probably rare situations that we don't even notice. The latest patch, they had a change that said exactly this, like fix an issue in which the damage dealt wasn't intended, and it was with Kunimitsu's rage drive after a floor break. It was doing like full damage. So I don't know what the deal with this one was specifically. There's some bug that was making the trap not do the correct damage, but not a big one at all, not important.
So I'm saying, okay, so we've gone over all the changes. Now tell me, what are the strengths and weaknesses to Marduk in Season 4?
So really, all that's left in terms of weakness is, I guess, you know, he's still not launching for -15, -16, -17 lows. You know, he's still just doing down back 3. So say like he blocks Claudio down back 3, you know, he's still either got to do while standing 4 or like a crouch grab. Yeah, like in this matchup, you know, I'm just getting while standing 4. Actually no, that move doesn't recover crouching, so even this applies to down 4 now. Okay. That's a big deal. But yeah, like I was saying, -15, 16, 17 lows. Unless you're gonna do like a perfect crouch cancel down forward 1 to punish 16 and 17, which who's gonna try something like that? He's still just taking while standing 4. That's on, of course, lows that recover crouching. You know, if it doesn't recover crouching, he's getting this, which is crazy. But other than that, you know, the weaknesses of the character they've really eroded now that he's got this thing right here. Still some of the absolute best combo damage in Oki in the game. His pokes hurt really bad. I suppose, you know, if you prefer a certain playstyle, you can be like, oh, he doesn't have like a Magic 4 type of move. He doesn't have like a really fast counter hit launcher or anything like that. You know, he's got the bigger heavy strikes, like down back 2, and you know, these big counter hit strikes. But yeah, he's just feeling so complete, so well-rounded. All that's really there is the lack of 15-16 frame while standing launch Punisher. Every other area, his block punishment is like S tier. And yeah, like I was saying, I think he's defined himself like in the top 10 at this point, in my opinion.
Okay, cool. So if there was one thing, imagine you had a sit down and you was talking to the developers and they said, oh, okay, what is the one thing you could give to Marduk that he needs? What would you give him?
What does he need, man? Like, what else can you possibly ask for at this point?
I mean, if you gave him the while standing 15 frame punishment, then he'll be absolutely ridiculous.
That would just make him the best at that point. He would just be the best at that point. I can't ask for that. I can't. I guess, like, you know, he's still very big. He's got really like wide frame, so like even though his sidestep is decent, he can't get around a lot of stuff because he's just so big. But he makes up for that with his amazing backdash. Just creates space in and out so easily. He does still, you know, he holds that arm out in front, so his hurt box is a bit bigger than most characters. You know, he gets clipped out at range easier. So those weaknesses are still there, you know, but they're there for a reason. So I wouldn't suggest like making him smaller or more agile or anything. Yeah, I think he's just really complete character that has everything he needs.
All right, cool. Well, Joey, thank you very much for this episode. The next episode that we're gonna do is Mr. I know the Americans get at me for saying this, so I'm gonna try and say it the right way. Mr. Powell Phoenix. Powell. All right, so we're gonna see you on to the next one, everyone. Take it easy.
Let's do it.